What's happening, guys? It's me, Drew, aka The Green Owl. And let me start off by saying, if you've not seen this week's episode of Gotham, guys, go watch it, because it was a bit of a head turner. So I'll get the non-scriptural parts of Gotham out of the way first. So like I said last week, we got to see the double gang of Bruce Wayne, and we got to see him again this week, and we found out a little bit more about him. So basically, as episode by episode goes on, you find out a little bit more about him. So this episode, we found out that he can't actually feel pain. We found that out in two separate occasions. First off was that he could not feel pain when he burnt his arm. He reached for a piece of bread because he was hungry. Obviously, he was in the Wayne household or Wayne Manor, and he was eating, and he's reached over to grab a bit of bread, and as he's done that, he's burnt his arm, and he never felt it. Later on, he takes on Alfred. Basically, Bruce and Alfred are there sparring with each other, and obviously Alfred's training Bruce to be the best. And Bruce is obviously kind-hearted, and he says, you know what, let the little double ganger number 5, Bruce Wayne, take me on. So him and Alfred were sparring it out and everything, and then Alfred hits him, and as he hits him, he smacks him straight in the nose, and his nose bleeds and everything, and he's just standing there like nothing's happened. He even asked the question, what is it supposed to hurt? So he's there, and that he can't feel pain. So we found that out about him. And if we think about previous Batman, so we're thinking about like different kinds of Batman, like the animation Batman and everything else, the Court of Owls had Talon, and Talon also could not feel pain. That was one of his great beneficial things to take on Batman, that anything Batman really did to him, he didn't really feel. So that was another thing. And another one is Hush, so we've got both Hush and Talon that they could basically work from, which is going to be interesting. Which direction are they going to go? Are they going to go Talon with the Court of Owls, or are they going to go Hush? So who is it? Also, we had, which is pointless because they've done it last season and they're doing it again this season, which is a mayor campaign on Gotham. So last season, if everyone remembers, it was actually Galavan who was the mayor of Gotham. He came in, he was causing trouble behind the scenes, but then being the hero, he killed Jerome, and he got the really big status about being mayor of Gotham. And as we all know, that ended up with him getting blown to hell. But this season, it looks like they're doing the same thing again, but they're doing it again with another criminal, which is Penguin. Now, the thing about Penguin is they did this storyline in a Batman movie where Penguin became mayor of Gotham, which is cool. You could do it, but you're kind of reusing script from last year. So now we've got Penguin running for mayor of Gotham. He's obviously there causing trouble, because we all know that Penguin's a troublemaker and he's trying to be king of Gotham. But what he did this week was he decided to recruit the guy who was stuck in Arkham. So we can all think, we should know that the person in Arkham was the Riddler. So Edward Nigma, he is obviously the Riddler. So he's gone to Arkham, and he's basically said to the guy in charge of Arkham, listen, you can either come on board with me and I'll make you whatever you want to be, kind of thing, or you can go against me, and when I become the mayor of Gotham, you're basically going to be doing all the crap jobs like sweeping up and cleaning up people sick and all this kind of stuff, because you'll be nothing and no one in Gotham. And you know what? Penguin's got that power to pull. So, you know what he did? He signed that certificate of sanity and he gave it to Edward Nigma. Nigma then turns around and says to him, wait a minute, but what about all the people that I basically killed? And he was like, well, you've done that when you were insane. And he goes, and now? He goes, well, you're sane. So Edward Nigma, aka the Riddler, is now back out in Gotham. He's been given his clean bill of health, and no one can kind of do anything about that at this particular moment, because he's classified sane. He's been released back out into Gotham, and now it's his time to start again but he's going to start. And what I'm really looking forward to is some of the riddles that he actually brings out on Gotham. So then we also had Jim as well. You know, he got himself into a little bit of a scrap this week as well, which was pretty cool. The main focus of Gotham this week was the Mad Hatter. So this is why the episode was a bit trippy, because it was all about the Mad Hatter. Now, if anyone knows who the Mad Hatter is, they know it's from a story called Alice in Wonderland. Okay? So, we had the Mad Hatter. He had a little timepiece, and he could basically hypnotize you into doing whatever he wanted you to do. So, for instance, he hypnotized this guy, and he asked this guy, how does he feel? And the guy said he feels as light as air. So the Hatter then said to him, well, stand on the top of the chair. And everyone's like, he can't do that, he's going to fall. Guy stands on top of the chair, no problem. He then says to the guy, well, you are as light as air, lift one leg. The guy then lifts one leg, still standing on the top of this chair. Pretty cool. He then asks the guy to jump down, the guy jumps down. He gives this guy some kind of command behind the waking him up. So when he calls him and he says these certain words, that the guy automatically springs into life and he's hypnotized again, and he then goes and does whatever he wanted him to do. He ends up taking over this guy's house and having this guy kill his wife, then kill himself. You think to yourself, bit crazy there, a bit radical, but he did make him kill himself, and he made him kill his wife. So we got to see the Hatter at his worst, because then he decides to put Barbara Keene under some hypnotic spell, which kind of backfires on him, because Barbara kind of switches on him and breaks a bottle and basically sticks it to his neck. He brings her out. But I'm hoping, when I was watching this scene, I was thinking to myself, oh, please do not freaking put her under some hypnotic freaking trance, right? Then suddenly, out of nowhere, yeah, there's this kind of command or something that somebody says, yeah, and she turns into Harley Quinn. I'm not feeling that, Gotham. Yeah, I was seeing it. I'm not feeling it, yeah. I'm not feeling the way they're trying to set her up to be Harley Quinn, right? I'm not feeling that at all. But back to the Hatter, boom. So, the Hatter then recruits Jim Gordon. And he says to Jim, basically, I have a little mission for you to do. I need you to find my sister. And Jim basically says to him, you know what? The city pays me $5,000. Hatter said, you know what? I double that. I'll give you 10. Jim's gone, okay, fair enough. Who is she? Her name is Alice. So now we get the story Alice in Wonderland. Okay. So Alice has this power that Hugo Strange must have given her, because she was one of the people who escaped from Indian Hill. So basically, every time she bleeds, like, she'll bleed, and her blood is basically like a fuel. Like, it will light up anything. So this guy basically hits her. He then ends up in kissing her. Her blood gets into him. He ends up in dying. Next thing you know, like, she sets him on fire. Yeah. So Jim and the guy who Jim went to see, there was a bar she was sitting at. And in this bar, you know, obviously her blood got on the side. And she's basically asked someone to, like, can she clean it up? You know, it did. So basically she set it on fire. And she set this whole bar, like, place to ashes. So Jim basically asked the guy, where is she? And he's an arrogant fucker. And he says, you know what? If I knew, I wouldn't tell you. So with that, they had a little bit of a fight. And Jim ends up going to hospital. But before this, you got to see Lee, who was back in Gotham, and she was in the GCPD. And Barnes was basically offering her job back and saying to her, you know what, we all miss you, please come back. And she was like, what about Jim? And at this point, Jim wasn't even in the building, and he turns up in the building and he's there talking to Bullock. And next thing you know, Lee comes out of Barnes' office, and all like, not hell breaks loose, but very awkwardness between them two. It was very like standoffish. He really wanted to get out of there really quickly, which in turn he was fueled and he was angry. So when he went into this fight with this guy, he ends up in getting his head a little bit cracked, and he ends up in going to hospital. You then find out the doctor who's not operating, but like sorting Jim out, his name's Mario. So you're thinking to yourself, this guy looks a bit evil, because by looking at this guy, he looks really evil. So then you find out that this Mario guy is going out with Lee, and you're thinking to yourself, oh damn, that's the guy. So do you then find out that he hasn't got the Valcone name? Okay, they end up in going out for dinner with Valcone. Valcone, the first time you see Valcone back in Gotham, and they all sat down and they were eating this meal. And you find out that basically the reason he's not got the Valcone name is because he wanted, Valcone and Valcone's wife, who is dead, wanted him to have a better life than the drug lord business, okay? So what they end up in happening is he ended up in taking his mum's name. So he didn't take his dad's name, he took his mum's name. So he was a good person. But we can all see, by looking at this guy, there's going to be some kind of dealio that makes this guy go insane, and join the Valcone family, right? And I think, I'm going to call it now, I think what's going to happen is Lee is going to get back with Gordon, which in turn is going to fuel Mario to be like, you know what? This was my girl, what are you doing? He's then going to go to his dad, and his dad's then going to be like, okay, come into the family, welcome him with open arms. But if everyone remembers, Valcone did work with Gordon, because Gordon actually saved Valcone's life. So, like, it's going to be a little bit of a head turner. But then obviously we've got Valerie in the mix as well, Valerie was kind of a bit blowing him off, like he was kind of make her happy, go for breakfast, or change up his place and make her feel more at home, and she was just like no, and she walked out. So that was a little bit of a cold-heartedness by her. But that's it really, guys. That's all what really happened in Gotham this week. We had the craziness from the Mad Hatter, so now we've been introduced to the Mad Hatter and Alice, who I believe Jim did actually arrest. So I don't know what ended up happening with Alice. But we do know at the very end that Bruce, the double ganger, number 5, Bruce Wayne, he ended up in, I think you'll find, kidnapping Selena. Because he went to her, and Selena kind of knew that there was something wrong with this guy. Selena's not stupid, but she's gone with him anyway. So at the very end of the episode, he kind of convinced her to go out for, I think it was dinner or something. She asked him, why have you got your car, and does Alfred know? And he was like, no, it's my car. And she's like, basically, there's something wrong with you, but I'll go along. Selena's not stupid. So I'm hoping that Selena is the one who actually tries to take this guy down and don't sleep with him before she finds out that he's actually a double. But as always, guys, I am your host, Drew, aka The Green Arrow. My next review, guys, it will be The Flash, because it is back. I'm just about to set down and give it a watch, because as it is, the first episode back is going to be called Flashpoint. So I'm very hyped about that. I'm just about to get ready, watch that. As soon as I've watched that, I'm going to be hyped, guys. I'm going to be hyped. So I'm going to be getting the 2 videos out in one day. You have this one, which will be Gotham, which is kind of late, is going to come up, and then obviously you're going to have Flash, which is going to come out as well on the same day. But as always, guys, I'm your host, Drew, aka The Green Arrow. I'm just about to go and watch Flashpoint, guys. Straight shooting.